Hi, this is Steve with Coin Stuff I Like, bringing you another Ike Stuff I Like video. This time it's related to the Eisenhower dollar listings in the new Cherry Pickers Guide, which came out just this year, 2024. It's the sixth edition, volume three, which covers half dollars up through dollars, gold pieces, commemoratives, etc. Um, so as you open this up and look at it, there are a number of new listings, and I'm going to focus on the new listings in the Eisenhower Dollar series in the newest Cherry Pickers Guide. So, why is that important? Well, for one, just by being in the Cherry Pickers Guide, it heightens collector interest for these Ike varieties. I mean, they're not new varieties, but they're new listings of existing varieties that we've known about for quite a while. So it increases collector interest, but it also means that these new listings may end up being attributed by third-party graders. Now, this is from the PCGS website, and these are the attributions that they'll do. Now, there's some exclusions from the FS or from the Cherry Pickers Guide, but they will attribute FS numbers for Ikes and certain VAMs, the top 100, top 50 for Morgan and Peace dollars, etc. There's a long list of reference books that they use for attribution. Now, the Chair Pickers Guide will, their listings may result in an FS variety listing or attribution by PCGS and the other third party carriers or third party graders. So that's another important aspect of having a listing appear in the Cherry Pickers Guide, is that it may end up being that it can be attributed and listed on the label of the graded coin if it passes the attribution. And by the way, they also PCGS lists all the books that they use for attributing tokens and metals. So, in other words, if there's a Dan Carr item that appears in Kraus Unusuals, then in that particular book, then they will attribute it. So there's the link there. By the way, I'll put these links down in the description of this video. So coming back to the Cherry Pickers Guide, the collector interest is going to be increased. So looking for those particulars to add to their collection, the new listings. Then possibly the new listings may appear or may be attributed by third-party graders, and that may take a little bit of time. For example, the last edition, the Friendly Eagle came out, was a new listing, and the Friendly Eagle finally was attributed by third-party graders. PCGS picked it up a few months later after the Cherry Pickers Guide came out. So now we have Friendly Eagle FS 901 attributed as a distinct variety among the Eisenhower dollars. Another aspect is that if the Cherry Pickers Guide listing becomes adopted as going to be a variety to be attributed by PCGS, for example, then it might make it into their registry set compositions. So, for example, the Eisenhower dollar complete variety set of circulation strikes will they list the FS 401, which is the 1971 silver peg leg, and the FS 501, which is the 1971 silver RPM for the circulation strikes. So once it starts getting attributed by a third party grader, and then if it makes it into the registry set, then that drives some demand and drives the price up a bit because it's in a specific registry set composition. So when you look at the new Cherry Picker's Guide, Volume 3, 1924, the 6th edition, there are a number that are continued over from the 5th edition. So the Friendly Eagle is still there. The 1972 Type 2 reverse is still there. The 71S proof double die obverse FS 103 and FS 106 are still there. The FS 801 double die reverse, which I just recently did a video on that, so I'll put that in the description as well if you want to take a look at that video. That's still there. The peg leg is still there. The 71S uncirculated peg leg, the business strike, the FS 401, and the 1971S RPM FS 501. Now they're all still listed. Now I just want to do a little tangent here. There are some problems here. They're all listed, but of course, there's multiple dies of Friendly Eagle. Maybe maybe 8 to 10 dies, reverse dies that were used. There are multiple lookalikes. There's So there's only one true FS 103, and there's only one true FS 106. But there are other dies that have very close doubling patterns, different markers, different spreads, but they end up in an FS 103 or FS 106 holder, unfortunately. This is only one die. There are 4 different dies, obverse dies, with peg legs from 1971 silver business strike, and all 4 of them have ended up in FS 401 attributed holders. There are at least two distinct RPM 1971 silver business strike RPMs, different die markers, different RPMs, and they have ended up as FS 501 attributed coins. So the Cherry Picker Guide will list the coin, but there are others that may look close, or they may not list both of them, and so that means that there are multiple different subvarieties within that attributed holder. The Type 2 reverse, there were only 2 dies. Only 2 Type 2 reverse dies used in Philadelphia in 1972. I'll do more videos on some of these others, but I just wanted to go over that little tangent there. The new Cherry Picker's Guide delists the 1972 proof double die verse FS 101 and the 1973S proof double die verse FS 101. These were relatively small spread double dies, and some of them may have been Certainly, some of them that end up in attributed holders are actually hub doubled and not true double dies. So they have delisted them, um, which means that it hasn't occurred yet to my knowledge, but they'll probably be removed from registry sets as well. Um, the new listings. These are the new ones. So a lot of peg legs are included, and I'll go over those. And I did a three-part video series on Ike peg legs. These are all die abrasion or die manipulation peg legs. Um, they added the 1971 S proof Type 1 reverse. All 1971 S proofs had a Type 2 reverse, except for this rare, maybe it was experimental or whatever, but they have a 1971 S proof with a Type 1 reverse. It's a rare coin with a high price tag. It's sort of one of my white whales of my Ike collection, is to have one of these in my collection. But it's been added, and it's FS 901. Notice they're all FS 401s. These are all peg legs in the Cherry Picker's Guide, but they are, the FS 401 is associated with each distinct date and mint mark. So there's a 1971D peg leg, 72D peg leg, 74D peg leg, a 78D peg leg. And as I mentioned in my three-part video series, the 78D, there's only one die, so that's fine. There are maybe 4 dies here, maybe 4 to 6 dies here. There's maybe 8 to 10 dies here. So there's going to be, because they only have one picture, it's very likely that there's going to be multiple dies with peg legs, coins from multiple dies that are represented in each one of these holders that are attributed as FS 401, if the third-party graders pick up the attribution following their listing in the Cherry Picker's Guide. Now, I'd save this one because the photo of the 1976D Type 1 peg leg, FS 401, this is their listing. The photo is a Type 2. The photo is a 1976D Type 2 peg leg. And if you watch the three-part series, you know that all 1976D Type 1 peg legs are peg leg by design. In other words, every coin they produce from in the Denver Mint, 1975, which is a 1976 date, that has a Type 1 reverse, Type 1 obverse, has a peg leg. They made a mistake. It's a typo, and it should be 1976D Type 2 peg leg, which does exist. And I believe there's only one die that produced 1976D Type 2 peg legs. Now remember, the Type 2 1976 design all had serifs. They all had a serif on the R. So this is an error, and that's going to create problems for the third-party graders. Yeah, there is a 1976D Type 1 oak peg leg, which I showed you in the part 3 video. The oak peg leg, which is, they had a peg leg to start with, because all the dies had peg legs for Type 1. And they got into some abrasion, and now the peg leg got even shorter. It was a very short leg of the R, which is called an oak peg leg. Yeah, there's one of those, but that's not the picture that they have in the Cherry Picker's Guide. The picture they have in the guide is a 1976D Type 2 peg leg. So an error there. 1974D goiter is listed. This is a die. It's a missing die fragment right near Ike's neck, so it looks like a large goiter. So it's a cracked die, broken die with missing fragment, resulting in this goiter appearance. The 1978 Philadelphia, 1978 upside down U die clash is listed, and I have not seen one of those. I'm going to have to start looking for them. I have a 1971 S Silver Business Strike upside down U and a couple of others, but it's a very distinct upside down U from Pluribus that is just between the we and In God We Trust and Ike's neck. There is a upside down U. So Cherry Picker's Guide chose to list that one, and now I'll have to look for that one. I will come back. I'll bring you what I have in terms of these new listings, and maybe even some of the older listings, and I'll show you on video under the scope. All right, here are the old ones. It's 1971 D Friendly Eagle, RDV 006, or FS 901, which is under that CAC sticker. This is a MS66. And I've shown this before, or shown the Friendly Eagle before. It has a very concave Gulf of Mexico, 4 islands, and they're sort of the top 3 are stuck together, and there's one below. And the flow lines from the crater, the debris flow lines, one of them extends all the way down to the top right of the second L in dollar. So Friendly Eagle stays in the Cherry Picker's Guide. The Type 2, also an FS 901. This is a 72, MS65, green sticker, and there's a Type 2 reverse. So the islands note their orientation. They're from northwest to southeast, and they're incus to a certain extent. Also, the Florida is nearly vertical and in line with the eastern coast of the United States. And then also it has, if you look in the upper left by the Earth, there's a little incus feature there as well. You can sort of see the shadows going there. So that's still in there. The FS 103 is still there. Pardon me. There are. This is one that apparently is. There's at least 4 dies. I take that back. At least 4 dies. Now, one of the things is FS 103 is a peg leg, 1971 S silver proof. It's a peg leg, and with mint mark, the mint mark and the doubling patterns and so forth, you can narrow it down to which one is the true FS 103. I did a study of FS 103s that were attributed by PCGS. I looked at photos and mint mark placement and so forth, and only 11% of 18 that were attributed as the FS 103 were the true FS 103. Note the doubling there in the lower left of the end. The T, the top bar of the T has quite a bit of spread. The lower left of the T, the R has some. In the upper bar of the R, there's a little die line or separation line. It goes all the way across. It's pretty profound. GOD, there's at the lower part, there's a pretty wide separation there. There's the G, there's the O, there's the D. So FS 103, that stays in Cherry Picker's Guide. The FS 106 is a similar sort of thing. This one also, it has to be a peg leg R. Now, I did a study on FS 106 attributed by PCGS, and I studied 44 of them, photos of 44 of them, and did mint mark placement, et cetera, et cetera. Guess what? 10% of the coins in PCGS attributed FS 106 holders had a serif R. Nope. That's not an FS 106, but 10% of them made through. So that's a problem. Then of the 34 that had no serif, had a peg leg, 56% of them had the correct markers and for the true FS 106. There were lookalikes. There's others that look very closely like it, but here you saw it. Look at the W. Look at the split. The splitting at the bottom. There's also splitting at the top. You can see that right there. So the two bottom parts and that one in the middle, they all are split. There's pretty good spreads. Look at the top bar of the T. In the first T in trust. The I and the lower left of the I and the N. That notching in the vertical bar of the G, you can sort of see that as well. These are all pretty good markers. They're the 9, the lower loop, or not the lower loop, the inner loop of the 9. So that one also continues to be in the Cherry Picker's Guide. The FS 801, which is also a peg leg R by design, and I've showed this. I did a whole video on this, and this one here, you can look and see the pronounced splits on the ninth star there. Pretty much all the stars have a wide separation. The America, look at the R, look at the M, A. They're all pretty pronounced. The I. See there, the A. So FS 801 continues in. The FS 401. Now, if you look at the picture in the Cherry Picker's Guide, it's this one. I'll hold this up over here. You look how that the peg leg there, see how it's sort of angled off there on the lower left? That's the picture in the Cherry Picker's Guide. And that is one of 4 dies. And you can see this one also has a pretty pronounced doubling, CGOD for this one. But there are, like I've said before, and I'll do another video on this, there's a different peg leg R. that gets attributed as FS401 very commonly. This one does not have that double die down there, so it's a separate die. Bottom line is there are 4 different dies that have made it in FS401 1971S holders. Same thing with the, that one continues in the Cherry Picker's Guide. The same thing happens with the 1971 RPM FS501. So if you look at the picture, it is this one. All right, so it's that one. And there's various die markers, but it's that one. If you look at the S and you look in the just northwest of that loop, upper loop, there is a remnant. There's a good picture of it. FS501, and there's another one. Here's one with almost the same spot, but it's not quite as pronounced. See it there? Northwest. This one here, you can tell the difference because it has these 2 die gouges, and there's other die markers, including the mint mark placement itself. But if you look at the above the one, see those 2 parallel die gouges there? One sort of running off from the bottom of the T just above the one, and one about midway if you draw a line from mid-vertical of that T across, and you see those 2 die gouges. So that is also attributed as FS501. So they all stay in the Cherry Picker's Guide. The ones that go are delisted is this 1972 S FS101, and compared to the other ones that we've shown, look at the notching in the lower right of the G. Let me try to focus that for you. The lower right of the N, and the lower right of that top bar of the T. You can see the notching there and elsewhere. That is a doubling there, very minor. If you get tripling, that's a different story. So this is 1973. Of course, they had a different style R in 73 for the silver, 1973 S silver FS 101s. And here is that one. And here, you know, look how fat that S is. In the second T in truss, there's a notch there. In the upper left. All right. Let's see if I can get this. The first T. There it is. Both upper left and the lower left. The lower left of the R. All right. So that's the FS 103 from 1973 silver proof. Both of those are just delisted. All right, so now we have the new listing. So we have a 72D peg leg. 74D peg leg. There's a 76 type 1 peg leg listed. Well, the only collectible peg leg from 1976 type 1s is a 76D peg leg that you see here, which is the oak, very aggressive shortening of a pre-existing peg leg R. So remember, 1976D type 1, all of them were peg legs, but this one had got some abrasion and took that peg leg that was already there and foreshortened it. So that is the true 76D type 1 oak peg leg, but that's not the picture in Cherry Picker's Guide. What's in the Cherry Picker's Guide is this one. All right, that one's in the Cherry Picker's Guide, and that one is 76D type 2, and that's a problem. It's a typo in the Cherry Picker's Guide, at least in my opinion. This is the one they intended because they all had serifs in the type 2s, and this one has an abraded R that lost its serifs and created a peg leg. So that's in the Cherry Picker's Guide. I'm not sure what they're going to do with that typo. And the 78D peg leg also makes it in. 78D peg leg makes it in. So there you have it. Most of the new listings at in the new Cherry Picker's Guide, 6th edition, volume 3. Didn't show you the upside down U clash from 78 because I don't have one. The goiter I have to dig up, and the proof 71S proof type 1 reverse. That's my white whale. I want to get that one someday. But it's nice to have these new listings. They generate collector interests, and they maybe become attributable by the third-party graders because now they're in the Cherry Picker's Guide. Maybe they even appear in a registry set. All of this bodes well for Ike collecting. So thank you for watching, and remember, buy stuff you like. Be smart about what you buy. We'll catch you next time. Bye-bye.